Evening, everybody, and welcome to Heroes in Theory. We're going to be doing something a little bit different going forward on a Saturday night. We're recording this a week in advance. This isn't a live stream, although this will be popped on Twitch and put on our YouTube channel for you to check out at your leisure. We're going to be running Delta Green, the Impossible Landscapes campaign. We've got 3 of our players here today. A 4th will be joining us for the rest of the campaign beginning episode 2. For the time being, I think we'll get right into it without any preamble. You wake up, Eliza. Alarm clock going off incessantly to your left. It's about the only thing that ever annoys you anymore in this nice tranquil life you've found yourself living. And as you kind of roll over and look to your left, you can see there's like a cupboard to your left that has a mirror in the doorway, and you kind of stand up, and Eliza at the age of sort of 30, you want to describe what she looks like?
Okay. So as Eliza wakes up, she looks in the mirror. She's completely disheveled. She has long, wavy, curly red hair and green eyes. She looks to be of Irish descent. She stands up. She's about 5'9". She's pretty tall. And she's sort of skinny, but she looks to have a wiry strength to her. She pulls a comb through her hair as she gets ready for the day. She has dark rings under her eyes. It looks like she's only slept 3, maybe 4 hours. As she gets ready and she picks up her case files, she pulls her hair into a tight bun and she walks out the door without eating breakfast.
Except as you go to reach down to get your case files, you stop and you think, case files? What am I... And you turn and you look in the mirror and there's no bags under your eyes. And your hair is pristine, and you open the cupboard to find a cupboard full of beautiful summer dresses that, you remember picking these up last week with your friend Priscilla while your husband was at work. And you hear a stirring in the bed behind you, and you turn around to see your wonderful husband. Brian, if you want to describe your character there, please.
Describe my appearance? Yeah, of course. In come walking through the door is Kane. He's a 6 foot tall Caucasian man. He looks to be somewhere from like almost Germanic in some features. He's kind of got like a very chiseled jawline, kind of beach tan skin. He's muscular for his... Oh, he's pretty young, so... short brown hair and like shocking like viridian green eyes. But he walks in and morning, Eliza.
Good morning, honey. How are you?
I just brewed a cup of coffee. Would you like a cup?
Oh, yes, please. I always have trouble in the morning.
Yeah, well,
waking up.
We'll wake up and get ready for the day. We got a big day ahead of us.
And you gotta get a move on, Kane, because you're gonna be late for work.
Yeah. I begin to kind of start my day as well. I put on my civvy clothes for right now, just because I do have morning PT to start off with at the nearby army base. But he grabs his medic bag.
And you're thinking, PT at the army base, yeah. and then you kind of get this little... What? PTD? I'm an ad man.
Yeah.
I work in sales. I'm an ad man. What am I? Ugh, weird.
What am I thinking right? He puts on his suit and tie, and grabs the briefcase near the door. Well, I gotta get an early start ahead of you, Eliza. There's some pancakes on the stovetop for you. But I'll see you later tonight. All right?
All right. Bye. Mwah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
He rushes out the door and like slams in a hurry.
And as you head,
confused by what just happened.
Yeah, and as Kane heads to the front door, there is a knock on the door just as you're leaving, and you're opening the door anyway, so you open up to see your mailman standing there. Brendan, if you want to describe the character there, please.
Cool. So in like this combination of like beige and white male suit and like a very nice prim and proper hat, you see this tall Afro-Greek looking man with long braided hair, kind of like tied back in a bun, kind of holding a satchel kind of halfway open, looking over, and he has like a pretty gentle but intense like dark brown eyes. Sorry. Oh,
Morning.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here, I can. Actually, I'm in a rush right now. I gotta get to work.
Well,
Honey, mailman's
Yeah?
at the door.
Oh, of course. Hi there. Good morning.
Hello,
Do you have
good morning.
something for us?
I do, just a few things. Digs back in the bag. Here you go.
And you hand over a couple of bills, flyer, and what looks like a rather nicely gilded letter.
Oh. Did we?
It's one of those.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Must be somewhat important.
Have a nice day. Thank you so much.
You too.
Gonna pop open the letter. I can pay the bills later. What's in here?
You open the envelope, and as you do so, you go to unfold the letter, and it pops open, and the paper is really, it's like high stock paper, it's high quality paper, and you turn it over. It appears to be some sort of invitation. Sort of gilded looking, and you begin to read. But as you begin to read, your friend do water aerobics together. Usually, right before you start on the, you come home and start on the chores before your husband gets home. And this friend, her name's Bridget, and she pops in the door. Oh, and she takes the invitation from you, and it's just kind of like reading it. Oh, it's
Bridget, good morning.
And
you
she
didn't
kind
tell
of
me we're stopping in.
throws it over her shoulder. She's like, just more sales trash.
Oh, okay. But I like to at least read my letters. Can I have it back?
Never you mind. Muffins? Then water polo. Let's go. And she like grabs your hand like this. And Bridget's always like this.
Okay.
She's like the go-getter, and you're kind of that's always been your dynamic. Like you've always been the timid one. Wait. Have you always been the timid one? That doesn't sound like you. You're not sure. Yeah.
I'm having a really off day today. I think maybe I have a cold. Maybe just the muffins then.
And she reaches into her bag and she passes you like 2 painkillers and a tampon. She's like, I understand. And just presses it into your palm like the secret she obviously considers it to be. And pulls you out of the door. Presumably you are dressed. Sorry, I didn't
Yes.
prove
Yes,
one of the
it's
dresses
fine.
on this one. Sorry, I assumed you were. And
Yes.
you head down and you head out, and you all would have seen this as you departed from the road. It is a perfect suburban street. The American dream, white picket fence. You see the guy across the lawn with a hose just watering the grass because it is hot today, big time. And at that point, a large sort of 50s like black Cadillac pulls up across the street and just stops. And gentleman in a suit gets out. He looks to be in his sort of early to mid 50s, maybe. It's a bit of a stubble. You'd call him handsome if it wasn't for the fact that he clearly looks overworked. This is a man that's clearly someone of high responsibility, does a lot. And he kind of heads over to you, Kane, just as you're heading up the street, and stops you for a second. Mr. Smith?
Yeah. Can I help you today?
Yes. If you would like to come with me, I just have from the and he like flashes like a badge real quick. And
what do I recognize the badge?
He does it so quick. You can make an alertness check for me to see if you read it.
Okay. Ooh, first roll. And that's a D100.
That's right, and you just got to get underneath your percentile for alertness.
I do not read that.
Oh.
It's all right. So he's too quick. Yeah, he like flip it open, flip it closed, and you see like a flash of what you think. Yeah, that's probably a police badge. This guy seems perfectly trustworthy. Look at where I live. I mean, come on,
Yeah,
we trust everyone here.
Suburban neighborhood.
And he says, yeah, we just had an awful spate of well, I don't like to be too robberies. Not good.
Oh yeah, I think I've actually heard about those. One of my neighbors heard some noises last night, I think. Yeah. What can I help you with then?
Well, we know you're retired from the service. We figured the man with your cape. Perhaps you saw something. We were thinking maybe a neighborhood watch may help. I'd love to discuss that with you.
Sure. If I can help, but I just gotta let my work know that I'm going to be running late. Do you mind if I run back inside real quick to call them, let them know?
Please do. And he walks back to the Cadillac and just leans against it and waits for you.
Please, sir, don't wait in your car for you. You come inside. There's fresh pot of coffee I just brewed, so it's not going to take too long.
Thank you. And he will follow you back inside as we switch over to Remy, who's continued his rounds up the street. You approach, you get towards the end of the street and you approach this, it's like it's probably the biggest house on the block. It's like one of those old townhouses that like most of the houses of that style now have been kind of converted to like, landlords have bought them and converted them into apartments, but in the city.
Sure.
But that doesn't happen here, where you live.
Gotcha. Well, this is certainly new. I wonder who the new tenant is and who the new owner is.
And
Just
but
kind
you
of look about and look around.
Yeah, you have a single item of post for this particular person.
Huh. I'm guessing they're just new in the neighborhood, or it's just strange. So I'm going to take this post and kind of look at the envelope and head on into the front to the front door.
As you look at the envelope, it's not written in English on the front. If you want to go ahead and use one of the foreign language slots that we discussed, then I can tell you what it is written in, and we can say that that's what you're proficient in.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
You recognise the Russian on the envelope, and then you stop yourself because how on earth do you know Russian? You've never left town. You were born here, you grew up here. You'll probably die here. So, what on earth is going on? And
so I'd probably take a moment to kind of reread what's on the front, and then reread it, and then reread it, and reread it, and just kind of rack my brain for a minute while I'm kind of while mindlessly walking toward the door. Just kind of lost in thought. I'm like, how do I understand this? Like,
it just.
I know I've met some characters in my life.
Yeah, it has the address, this specific address on it, but written in Cyrillic Russian, and it's addressed to a V. Renko. And as you're looking at the envelope and discovering new things about yourself, I need you to make a sanity check for me, please.
First one of the game. Woo!
Cool.
Relation.
That was a 38.
Is it under your sanity, yeah?
Yep.
That's a pass. You're completely fine. No sanity loss at all. So yeah, you're like, nah. I guess I must be one of those. What do they call them? Like poly, whatever it is, linguistical wizards that you hear about. There's like 10 on the planet, maybe. I must be one of those. I just understand this language.
Genius.
Feel kind of proud of myself. Like, huh? All right then.
All right. What do you want to do now?
I'm gonna take the letter up to the door.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and just knock on the door.
Yeah. So you approach this great wooden townhouse and you step up onto this porch, this beautifully painted porch, and make an alertness roll for me.
Yes, an 18.
That's a pass, yeah?
Yep, pass.
As you approach the door, you notice on the inside of the door frame, there's some strange carvings that you can't quite place your finger on. Or
must be from. I'm guessing.
Or can you? Because the longer and longer you look at these symbols, the more they start to make sense to you. And you're like, first of all, you're like, it's just like kids just vandalizing stuff, and then you're like, except that's Sumerian.
Yeah.
Why do I know that that's Sumerian? And this one is ancient Mesopotamian. Why do I know what that is? Can you make another sanity check for me, please? As you continue to notice the strange things around you.
Episode. He's having a schizophrenic episode.
It's like, whoa. Everything
That's a
makes
pass.
sense.
It's a pass, no problem. No sanity loss at all, no problem. You're having a morning. Who knows? And
Just one of those weird off days.
Happens to the best of us.
You know?
And
just
as you're leaning in and really inspecting the door frame, the door opens, and you feel an arm, because you're like quite in close. You feel an arm on your shoulder, as somebody pulls you inside. And we'll just stop there, and we'll head over to Eliza on her way to water polo with her friend Bridget. And we'll skip ahead a little bit for the sake of brevity here.
Okay.
You've already gotten changed, and you are now heading into the pool for water aerobics.
Oh. Well, I've never really liked swimming, but I guess since I'm here.
I don't like the water either, but you gotta keep things tight for him at home, you understand? And she does like she's her arms and Bridget's always been like this. She's a bit scandalous. She just says the things that
Eliza just looks scandalized. She's like, Bridget, You can't say things like that. We're in public. Oh my gosh.
And she seems
That's kitchen talk.
she seems to be the only person in town that can get away with behaving like that. It's part of her charm. And and you sort of lead you down into the water, and there's a bunch of other women kind of standing around gabbing, and that's when to say that this gentleman is probably the reason half of the people in Nepal even attend this class is probably an overstatement. Fernando appears by the poolside, incredible tan. It looks like he's carved out of rock, this gentleman, and begins to take your water aerobics class leading from the front. And you're sort of going through the motions. You kind of look over to Bridget, and she's smiling and mostly oogling Fernando, and you feel something strange kind of brush past your leg.
I'm gonna look into the water.
And this pool is immaculately maintained by the local government, and you don't see anything.
Bridget.
And she's like, what?
I felt something in the water. I felt something on my leg.
What?
Do you think there's like a frog or something?
Don't. He's about to start on
Hey,
glutes.
frogs.
Don't. Oh. And
Bridget, there's something in the water.
And you get halfway through saying that when the bottom of the pool that you were so sure you were stood on suddenly isn't there, and you slip under the water, looking up. And there's no one else in the pool now. The sun's kind of gone a little bit. And then suddenly there's gold. Yellow gold, just light hits the water. Not the bright sun, kind of a sickly, almost off yellow. There's something wrong with it. And you find your footing underneath you. Suddenly there's a new surface. Looking around. And the pool's empty, no one's there. And you look over towards the sort of the entrance, the exit area to the pool area, the community swimming pool where you are, and you see a figure in robes with a golden sort of yellow mask, and he just stands there with his arms crossed in front of him. Doesn't move.
Who are you? What? Where is everyone? Where's Bridget? Bridget, are you here?
You make a sanity check for me, please, Eliza.
Ooh, okay, that was close. 62, and my sanity is 70.
Oof.
That's a pass. You won't take a sanity hit for now, as you are. I don't know, maybe you fell over and hit your head or something. But why would they have left you in the pool if you
hit my head? Where is everyone? I have to get out of the water.
And you glance around? Yeah, you get out of the water, and as you do so, and you glance around, that figure's gone. And you
Hello? Is anybody here?
Stare at the spot where the figure was for a second. It's the only way in and out of the area you are, so. And the gate is kind of open, just sort of idly. You can hear the slight metal kind of as it clanks against the rest of the fence. And you get it between your eyes, and you kind of pinch like you do when you got a migraine. Just to briefly, and when you open your eyes again, everyone's back. They're all in the pool. still doing their water aerobics, and you're kind of standing there by poolside.
Oh, I must be sick or something. Pardon, I think I have to go home early. I have a migraine. I'm sorry. I'll be back next week.
But as you leave, you hear Bridget, like, she's speaking to one of the other women in the pool, and kind of not. She's probably just gossiping. That's what she does. If you like, you can make, I'll say, alertness check to see if you can hear her.
Okay, I'll do that. Sounds fun.
So you got those ears.
Let's see. 42 for my alertness of 70. I do have those ears. That's a pass.
She's smiling and her body language is very jovial, and she's certainly trying to make it look like she's just gossiping. But the only two words that come out of her mouth are, she knows.
I would like to call my husband.
You don't have a phone.
Oh.
And you're like,
wait, what time period are we in?
For a
Yeah,
second.
We're like, this is 1950s, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it is.
Well,
maybe I'll go find like.
You
the
stop
house
for a
phone or
second,
something.
and it does, like, that instant sort of response to, I'll call my husband straight away, and then you stop and you're like, on what? What am I?
Where?
And so what do you want to do now, Eliza?
I think I just have to go home and lie down.
Okay. And
Maybe he wouldn't mind if I came to visit him at work. Do I know where he works?
yeah, I would say so. It's just an
Okay,
office in
yeah,
town.
Yeah, I'll go to the office in town.
Okay.
See if I can get there.
So you get changed and head over to the office in town, and at the same time we're going to move on over to Kane, who's not at the office in town, and is instead with
what a surprise.
Detective Alphonse at the station, having ridden back with him. And you sit now in a in just kind of detective's office, and it's he's Detective Alphonse is like he's well known around the town as like the or he was a big cop in you know, the big city, and this is kind of his retirement plan, and he's generally quite well liked, even though he's more gruff in demeanor than everywhere else. And you know, you've always said that's what big city life does to you, but he's generally a warm fellow once you get to know him, and he's been over for like poker night with the boys and stuff like that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you wouldn't call him like a friend. It's not like you go to the bar with him like all the time, but you know him well enough. You've had a few drinks with the guy, and he seemed like a good chap.
So what can I help you with exactly? I know you were just kind of speculating, just kind of generalizing things, but what questions do you have for me?
Oh, just we were just wondering if you'd seen anything strange in the neighborhood recently.
Have I seen anything strange in the neighborhood recently? I didn't notice the gilded letter from the mailman because I was in a rush to leave, so
You wouldn't have seen that, no.
I wouldn't
And-
have seen it. I didn't notice anything walking out of the house either. No, nothing strange recently. Just, you know, horrible migraines recently, but that's kind of it.
And as you strain to think, have I seen anything strange recently? You suddenly start to realise that there's not much to your memory than before you woke up this morning.
Actually, what? I don't remember much of anything from yesterday or anything before this morning. Actually, wait, where am I right now? What town am I in?
Oh, it's Staticville. Come on, this is where we grew up.
I didn't grow up in Staticville. I didn't grow up in Staticville. I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't grow up in Staticville.
You,
I grew.
and as you
I grew
say,
up-
as you say that, it's almost as if memories kind of force their way into your mind of like a high school graduation and getting married to Eliza in the church in town, and are you gonna
Wait,
fight
sorry,
these memories or do you want to accept them?
Oh, I'm gonna fight them, dog. I'm gonna fight them.
Make a willpower roll, please. So that would be
Willpower.
willpower times 5.
Willpower times 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a 67. So my willpower is 80.
Yeah, so 67 would be under.
Nice.
That's a success.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, these memories are not my own. Something is wrong. And
Do I don't notice anything around the police station either right now. Like, do I notice anybody kind of on edge right now?
make an alertness roll.
Come on, low numbers, baby. Oh, that's a 65. I did not succeed.
Woof.
You look around, but you can't. There just seems to be kind of patrol officers, and it's not a big town, so there's not a lot of cops needed. They're all kind of filling out their paperwork.
Okay. I think you have me confused right now. I didn't grow up around here. I don't know where you heard that from, but I didn't grow up from around here. I'm from out of town.
He narrows his eyes for a second and gets up and swiftly walks out of his office, leaves you just in the seat, and you see him walk across as because you're in like he's a detective, so he'd have his own office, right? That's sort of separated off from the bullpen. But it's all like big glass open windows, so you can see everything, and you see him get up and leave, and he begins speaking to a couple of the patrolmen who
I am immediately going to start rummaging around his desk.
Okay, make a search.
Right now.
Make a search roll with a 20% penalty because you're doing this quickly.
Okay. Oh, I gotta roll under a 40.
You can do it.
You can do it.
73.
Oh no.
So you're pulling drawers open and you just find paper, and there's like reports on like, guy was fined for walking on the grass in the town square. That's about as criminal as it gets here.
Florida man.
Okay, I'm sitting back, like, oh no, I don't want to sit down right now. I'm like sketched out right now. I'm like having a schizophrenic episode right now. I just had memories that weren't mine, just trying to force into my head, and some guy who I barely know is trying to talk to me like he's a friend of mine. What would Kane do right now? I think he's still a little bit confused right now. I don't think he would rely on base instinct just yet. So I think he's gonna like sit down and just kind of breathe it through right now and just be like, okay, maybe he just heard you wrong or something like that.
Okay. He comes back about 4 or 5 minutes later, with two of the patrolmen, and they he steps through the door and they step through the door behind him, but you can't help but notice, and you're not sure why you notice this so quickly, but you notice that they are blocking the doorway, the two heavy-set men that he's entered with intentionally, and one of them has a syringe.
Detective, I think you misheard me when we were having a drink one night. I'm severely apologize. But to be honest, no, I haven't noticed anything out of the normal. I mean, it's just kind of been my daily life with Eliza. She just I woke up this morning and made her breakfast. I guess I must have hit my head or something this morning getting out of bed. My memories seem to be a little bit foggy right now. Do you mind if I actually go to the hospital? Do you mind taking me to the hospital?
Make a persuade roll.
No. That is just barely.
He narrows his eyes and looks at what was the actual percentage?
It was 62. I had to roll under a 50.
Okay, cool. He kind of narrows his eyes, and then he just he gets to the chap on his right with the syringe and just goes, sedate him. And
I'm throwing a punch. No, don't touch me.
Okay.
Get him.
I was about to. No, that's fine. We'll do that. Roll unarmed combat.
That's my no-no zone. Don't touch me. That's way better. That's a 48.
Hey.
Nice.
48 hits. What did you roll?
I rolled a 1.
Minus 1.
So you swing, and your brain actually goes solar plexus. Guy this size, solar plexus, that'll work. But mid punch, you're like, wait, I don't know where the solar plexus is, and you hit him right in his bicep, and this guy's barrel chested, and he just stands there, and he's like, and I'm just gonna quickly roll. He just makes the roll as he doesn't even, he's so efficient and kind of restrains you with the left hand, just one hand around the back of your neck, and the other hand just comes in and just jab. One movement, and your eyes begin to dim just as you see him pull the needle back out again. And
jeez,
we're gonna head on over now to Remy.
Yeah.
Remy, you find yourself bundled into a room with a single wooden chair in it and an electric light, and it's seriously dark inside. Other than this light, you realise all of the windows have been blacked out and shuttered.
Interesting.
And there's a voice from behind you, presumably the gentleman that bundled you in here in the first place. There. What happened to you? You drop off of radar. And you turn to see a burly, big salt and pepper, ship's captain beard, Popeye arms. This guy, but they are concealed under a roll neck jumper and a coat that's not of the style that you're familiar to. It's very. It looks like the best approximation you can make is this gentleman looks like he's from the city with the way that he dresses.
Right. I don't believe I know you. What's radar?
What? It's Renko. What the?
Rinko.
Roll intelligence times 5 for me.
It's a 24, so pass.
You... Memories begin to flood in. A library? And you helped him with something. He owes you.
I did you a favor, right?
You begin to remember. God, what did they do to you, man? And he comes in and he cups his hands kind of under your chin. You know, like a doctor might if he's doing a physical.
Like checking.
Yeah. And there's definitely you don't need like a massive human role to say like it's none of this is malicious. He does seem concerned and he's like checking for. I mean, you don't know what he's checking for, but he does seem to be genuinely concerned. Yeah. Why did they put you here? I don't understand it.
Put me where? Where's here?
This fucking fantasy land, man. What?
Fantasy land? Oh. I've been here most of my life.
Okay. They said it may be like this.
They? What? I'm not following.
Look, and he reaches down into like a thing that's on like there's like a bunch of pouches strapped around his waist, and he reaches into one and pulls out a small syringe. Look.
Do I?
And it's full of just like a clear liquid, and he places it in your hand like in front of you and steps back and he goes, look, you can take it and I should be able to help you. You clear your mind.
And Remy just kind of looks at the syringe, like rolls it around in his hand. And he's just kind of... What do you mean, clear my mind? I mean... Remy's a bit confused.
The rest of your cell, they're here, yes?
The rest of my cell? I'm not following. Who? Cell? People? Look, none of this makes sense. I just deliver the mail, and that's my job.
No! Mail is fucking lie. You take red pill now. That is Hollywood Matrix film reference, yes?
I guess. So
you've no idea what he's talking about. Like those references in particular are just like what?
Just look, I just came to deliver this to you, and all the stuff you're saying doesn't make sense.
It's from me, idiot. I slip it into your round so you come to my house.
Can I is it like a letter, right? Like enclosed?
Look, it is still sealed, and he's got it in his hand. Look, I don't want to open this. This is last resort. But if you don't take the syringe, I will have to. Do you trust me?
Do I trust him?
It's your call. You can make a human check to see if you think that it's essentially like an insight check in D&D. So you use human for in this situation.
I think I'll roll it. I only have a 10 in it, so we'll see.
Yeah? Give it a shot.
68. So I don't.
You don't know is always the answer to that. Like, you don't know if you fail a human roll, you don't believe one way or the other. You don't know is the best answer.
Just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know whether he's telling the truth or not.
Got it. I don't think I can trust you.
I promised you I would pull you out of mess. I'm not leaving. So you take a syringe, or God help me, I will have to open this envelope. One last chance, man. And he's got his hand on the envelope.
Look, if I just do what you say, will you let me leave? I have other rounds to make.
Sure.
And Remy just kind of squints his eyes and looks at the syringe and, like, I guess, scenarios of, like, you know, foreigners doing terrible things pops into his head. It's like, well, I guess the only way to survive is to do what they say until you can find a way to escape, so I guess he'd listen.
And you're going to reach for the syringe.
Yeah.
And we will just stop there and jump
Cool.
over to Eliza. Eliza, you damn near stumble back through the idyllic streets of Staticville towards your home.
No. Hey, Richard, she, like, waves to the neighbor. She's like, hey, sorry, I think I had a fall when I was at the pool. I think I need to go to the hospital.
He's just staring at you. And he has the hose that he had this morning. But it's not running anymore, he's just holding it idly. And he's just staring at you.
Hello? Are you okay?
And you see him place a single finger to his ear and mutter something. And then...
Can I try to listen?
He's too far away for you to listen, but I'll let you make an alertness check to see if you can lip read him at all. And that's going to be at a 20% penalty.
Okay. Let's see if I can do it. So, I got 34. Like, that's what I rolled. And then a 20% penalty would be added 20% to it, right? Or would it take away from the... Okay.
Same either way, right? Yeah.
It's the same either way. So it would still pass because my alert is a 70.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't know how you're able to lip read this accurately at this distance, but it appears to be a skill that you've picked up quite well today, and he mutters the words "target acquired." I need you to make a sanity check for me, please.
52. That's a pass. Sanity is 70.
No sanity loss, no problem. And you clench your jaw a little.
To the house.
Sure.
Yeah. You run to the house, barricade myself in.
Okay. You get like furniture and push it in front of the door. Big heavy cupboards. Furniture in the 50s was built to last, so you've got that on your side.
Seeing as she's being threatened, she's gonna reach down to where she's sure she almost always has like a gun or a taser. She reaches down, she's like, wait, I don't have any.
You know that your darling husband keeps a shotgun in the basement.
That'll do.
You head down there, and sure enough, it's a pump action buckshot for hunting. Box of 10 shells, and you find yourself loading it with more ease than you've done in the past. You've always had to get him to load it before when there's been like critters in the back and things like that. I mean, it's not very ladylike.
Why do I know how to load a gun? What?
You hear a crash from upstairs.
And I get into like a tactical position behind the basement door, like get ready to shoot them if they walk by the door.
Sure.
Yeah. Hiding.
And you can hear the screech of tyres now. Outside. Multiple. Roll firearms for me. Yeah, that's fine.
Ooh.
You can do it.
I think Eliza's good at, she is good at guns. Ha ha ha. There it is. 22 under her firearms skill of 80.
Oh wow.
What did you roll?
22.
That's a crit. Because that's why I asked what you roll.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Yeah.
not only do you recognise there are 4 vehicles that have just pulled up outside, but the best way to engage them effectively with the weapon that you have in hand would be to rush to the edges of the barricade that you have set up and catch them in the open. Do not let them enter the house.
Yes. Do that. She's going to rush, I guess, sort of into like the foyer living room area
Yeah?
and like hide behind the barricade but also shoot at them through the windows.
Okay. And you
Maybe
look
try to hit a couple of the tires too.
you
so they
look
can't
outside, there are 4 panel vans that are a strange design. You've not seen vehicles like this before. It's odd. Or maybe they're not so strange, you're not so sure. But they open up and 4 men from each vehicle, so a total of 16 men that are, they look like soldiers of some kind. They're carrying the sort of guns that Kane used to use back in the war. Except, no, the design's strange. You've not seen guns like those before. And they take up a perimeter around the front lawn. And you just hear, Eliza Smith! Drop the weapon! Can I put your hands up? And we're going to head on over now to Kane.
I'm assuming Kane is at this point waking up from whatever he just got knocked out with.
You wake up to the screech of tyres and you jolt awake and realise you're sitting in the back of... Oh, it's the same Cadillac that drove me here. And Detective Alphonse is in the front. And he turns back and he looks at you and he goes, "How much do you remember?" As he careens through the streets of Staticville and you try and shake the cobwebs off.
What? Remember what?
Corporal Kane, how much do you remember?
What do you? Do I get any memory flashes when he says Corporal Kane?
Mate, intelligence times 5.
That's the wrong dice. Where's that one? It's 57. So yeah, he does remember
You get-
something.
Yeah, you get flashes of a desert, dry, arid desert, locals that did not, by and large, want you there. A dictator involved, maybe? And you're wearing sort of a... It's definitely a military uniform, but it's not the same one you wore to Normandy.
I was in a desert and what's going on? Where are you taking me right now?
We're on the way to rescue your colleagues. The rest of it should kick in a moment. And he pulls out a walkie-talkie. Crackles to life. Renko! Renko, is he ready? And there's a moment, and then you just hear like a garbled response in... Maybe that's Russian, you're not sure? Before...
Yeah, I don't know Russian, so...
No. You're lucky one of you got away. Otherwise, you'd be stuck in here. And
stuck in where? Where?
Here,
What
this
is
Candyland bullshit. And memories are starting to flood back. Yeah, you were in Afghanistan. It was 92? 91, 92? And then after that, something else, something stranger. And then many years after that, something stranger still. And now you're here.
I'm not handcuffed or anything like that. I'm
No.
just like I have free hand.
And as a matter of fact, Detective Alphonse reaches into the front glove box and he passes you what you immediately recognize as a Glock 17.
I immediately load it.
Yeah,
Without
with
hesitation.
absolute expert fluidity. What?
Are we heading back to my house right now? Is Eliza okay?
I think they're onto her. We need to get her out now.
Who's orchestrating this bullshit right now?
The program. This is the fucking program. God damn.
There's so much. I'm so much of it is just a blur right now. I need a second. I need a second.
We don't have time. Look, you'll remember in time. It takes a while to kick in. God damn. And you hear the radio crackle to life with gunfire. And at that point, we're going to jump back on over to Remy. And you've heard the back and forth between Renko and Alphonse as Renko pulls out this huge wooden crate and cracks the thing open and pulls out several really dangerous looking automatic rifles and lights a cigar. He's got 1 foot on the windsill and he's kind of looking out you can see where he's blacked the window at, he's left this tiny hole, presumably so that he can spy on the surroundings, and he's kind of looking out the window and you can hear vehicles rushing outside now.
Okay. Have I taken the syringe at this point?
You have. You actually came to listening to him go back and forth with Alphonse on the radio, and you do know this man. You were researching one evening and you helped him somehow. The details are still fuzzy.
Still kind of coming back in.
Yeah.
Renko. What's going on?
We're here to get you out. World outside is broken. It needs fixing. You are the ones to do it. Believe me, we try everything else first before we come in here to Belly of Beast, but has to be you.
Where is here?
I think perhaps better you see. We get out and you see. You don't want to overload your brain.
And Remy just kind of looks around and kind of takes in, like, we don't want to overload your brain, and just kind of trusts Renko and just, okay.
And he opens another pouch on his leg and hands you a...
Pardon me for just a second.
Sure, no problem.
Sorry.
That's all right. We'll head on over to Eliza now for the time being. Then, Eliza, they are holding a perimeter. From what you can tell, just through this weird instinct that you've been able to pick up, they probably want to take you alive, because if they didn't, they would have just riddled the house with bullets already. So you're at a stalemate.
Eliza will... She's not so easy to trust that she'd walk out into a group of 16 armed men. So she's going to stay where she is, and she's going to say, I demand to know why you're here. I know my rights. What are you trying to arrest me for?
Just repeats, put down the weapon and put up your hands!
Not until you tell me what you're trying to arrest me for. I won't go with you unless I know.
At that moment, there's a smash near the back door, and you can see smoke start to emanate from the kitchen that's at the back of your house, billowing into the room that you're in. What do you do?
She will instinctively cover her mouth and nose with like a piece of fabric from like maybe her dress that she's wearing, or
Sure.
basically any way so that she's not breathing that in.
That's easy enough, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And where you are now, I mean, you're behind a barricade that's at the front of the house, but like everything behind you is in the open because you're just the barricade's at the edge, just to make you aware.
It's only at the front of the house.
Yeah.
And then the smoke is coming from the back of the house,
yes.
right? So,
yeah.
Is there any way for her to make sure that the smoke doesn't get into this room? Can she close the door? Can she put towels under the door?
You run over there and you close the door between the kitchen and the living room, and the smoke now just begins to. But you pull you
shove towels and stuff in.
Yeah, you've got
kitchen,
you open a cabinet to your right that's got it's the tablecloth and the dinnerware that you use when guests come over. And that is what you once what would have been an abhorrent act to you now just seems practical as you jam this under in the bottom and in the top as quickly as you can, and it does stifle the smoke from coming in. We're gonna skip back on over to Remy now, if that's all right. And Renko reaches into his pouch and he hands you like a thin metal tube. And as you reach out and kind of take it, you instinctively flick your wrist and like a baton opens out.
I remember this.
And you look and you see familiar initials just on the bottom. These were your dad's initials. What are your dad's initials?
SD. Or ST, sorry.
Yeah, and you see that on the bottom, and you're like, yep, this is definitely mine.
Huh.
Yeah, I believe this yours too. And he hands you. It's a 38 special.
And Remy takes it and kind of puts it in his hands and runs his fingers over it and just kind of, and then puts his finger with a trickle hole as it just kind of tosses it around in his hand to get familiar with the weight again and just, where'd you get this?
From you. Come on, let's go. And he hustles you out to a car outside, like a pickup truck.
Mm-hmm.
And you get in. And he runs around to the other side of the pickup truck and takes off, peeling out from the front of the house towards the commotion coming from a few streets over. And we're going to head on over to Kane as Detective Alphonse pulls the car up to a halt. And at the end of the street, you can see men in uniform, and there are people that you swear you've known for years. Some of them are now carrying guns. You're not sure what's going on. Alphonse directs you out of the car and goes to the trunk and opens the trunk and takes out a rather sophisticated looking rifle that he hands to you. I believe you already have that on your character sheet.
I do. It is an M4 carbine. It's got a hollow sight. It's got a large suppressor on the front of it, and attached to the barrel is also a laser sight as well. I'm assuming there's already a magazine inside the gun, so he just kind of grabs it, wraps a sling around his chest, and just racks around immediately. Is there anything else in the trunk as well? Like, is there any gear?
Well, it's funny you should say that. He's still unloading. He pulls out a very similar rifle and hands you a flashbang and a smoke grenade and 2 extra magazines for that particular rifle.
Okay. Kane is going to have to, like, essentially shove the magazines into his pocket since he doesn't have a rig.
Oh, sorry. He gives you them in a rig, so he does. Just
okay.
to make it more.
Okay, so yeah, Kane is just very familiarly, as it's coming back to him, just slipping on his chest rig and sliding in plates into his front chest plate. Alfonso doesn't have anything on him, does he? Or does he have a similar setup?
He is set up like you are now. Like, he's been pulling similar gear out of the trunk for him and strapping it on. And finally he pulls out like this great big, like, crowbar looking tool thing, and he heads on over to the nearest manhole cover and pops it open. And as he pops it open, moves it out of the way. Around, you count them, maybe 6 to 8 more men that are similarly equipped come pouring out of the manhole and surround the both of you. And Alphonse pulls out a top-down map of the neighbourhood that is. And as you look at it, you realise you've never left, apart from when you went to fight in Normandy, in these strange memories of yours that are now conflicting with your memories of Afghanistan. The town is like a perfect circle, and there's only maybe 20 buildings total, including the building you work in and the community swimming pool.
Okay. Kane is just immediately starting to, like, just read through the map and get the layout of the entire scene. He's not even questioning these memories anymore that are just flooding back to him. He's rolling with punches.
We're in it now.
Yeah, we're in the shit now. Okay. Kane is able to, for the most part, see what is going on at the house at the end of the street. He sees the 4 vans, and he sees the 16 guys in the front yard area. Okay, so with his just kind of innate military science knowledge, raids typically.
Well, do you have
are-
that? That's an actual skill, so it's
I
not
do.
innate.
I
Okay, roll it.
do. Okay, word. Let's go.
Rad. Cool.
Yeah, no.
What the?
Okay, that is. Oh yes, that's going to be a 32.
Yeah, so you're aware that you were trying to get what was it you were hoping to learn, like ascertain?
So raid tactics typically come at 2 to 3 points. There's a front entrance breach team, and then there's a back entrance breach team, typically with suburban houses, and then there's oversight.
And you identify all of that as you look towards the end of the street.
Yeah.
You can actually see the smoke coming from the back, and you quickly you visually idea it as, no, that's it. That's not tear gas or anything like that. It's just visual. It's for visual obfuscation. So they're kind of following this to the letter. They're probably going to try and breach the back of the house soon.
Mm-hmm. So, objective is we're going to take a 4-man team to go to the rear entrance of the house with 2 men. Also take oversight. Oversight is probably going to be in an adjacent building, just overseeing the general house area. So that way there's no escape for the suspect. So I'm going to have a 2-man team go take that oversight point, while a 4-man team follow behind the breachers at the back of the house. Me and Alfonso are actually going to load back up into the car, and we're going to just cause some chaos in the front of the house. So we're going to be doing some. We're going to be doing a drive-by.
Hell yeah!
I couldn't have said that better myself. Well done, son.
We're going to start with throwing smoke to obscure vision in the general area, following it with just trying to separate the groups as best as possible and just take them out one by one.
Yeah, and
Cut off
because that's clearly such a very well thought out plan. Well done, Brian, as a player. For the initial attack, whatever roll you make to sort of initiate the attack, I'm going to give you a plus 20% to that roll. Because you've thought this through, so you get like an ambush bonus. And Alphonse turns towards you and is like, listen, the Alphonse is just an alias. Poe. Donald Poe. And he extends his hand to you.
I'm going to just like grab, like, you know how like in those action movies where like the guys, they don't even grab their hands, they grab wrists instead for some reason. It's kind of like that. Like, it's just that really weird action movie kind of scene where it's just like, so Kane is just going to be like, speed is going to be of the utmost efficiency right now in order to make sure that Eliza gets out there in one piece. All right? Now, is there any other pieces on the board that we do not know of? That's just going to be a very key component.
Poe just...
I heard you were talking to Renka, was it?
He's working on the exfil, and he's got your other man.
On the exfil? Okay, so Renko and our other man, they're going to be the ones that are be in charge of making sure that Eliza gets out there in one piece. All right? The 4-man team is just to make sure that the back entrance is clear, because they're going to be leaving behind other people to make sure. So they're going to cover their exfil, right?
Renko's getting us out of here. And he gestures to the whole town.
Okay. All right. In that case, then. All right. I guess the 4-man team is going to be in charge of exfilling Eliza then.
And speaking of which, we'll now head back to Eliza.
Hi.
And you've managed to block the smoke off, but you know instinctively it's a matter of time before they get in here. There are so many of them, and there is only one of you.
Yeah. At this point, she's like weighing her options. She's like, how many of them can I shoot? How good of a shot am I? And she's like trying to remember, how good at fighting am I? Can I take any of these people?
And then there's
And
a strange,
it's
polite
just-
knock on the back door. Not where the kitchen is, but you've a direct back door from the drawing room, which is also in the back of the house, to your back garden. And you can see the window of that from here, from your vantage point. And it's Bridget. And she's just, woo!
Bridget.
Bridget,
Oh no.
Bridget, there are 16 men with guns. What are you doing? Get inside. Get inside.
They wanted me to come talk to you. Can I come in?
What do they want? She's not gonna let her in. She's like, what do they want?
They just wanted me to come talk to... Look, let me in. We can have a nice little discussion, okay? And I'll get you out of there. Come on.
Can I make a human int check? Can I see if she's being...
You certainly can.
That is 67 on my human int of 80.
She's hiding something. What that is, you're not sure. But...
I can't
I
can't let you in.
You do get the
I
feeling...
can't let you in here.
You do get the feeling that she probably does just want to talk. But... there's more to it than that.
There's some extra steps.
I can't let you in here. You're hiding something from me. What do you want? What do they want?
And when you say... The moment you say the words, you're hiding something from me, her face, like, sours. And suddenly, she kicks the door in and rushes at you, brandishing
Can I shoot her?
a combat knife.
Can I shoot her?
Fire. Yeah, you can get a shot off before she gets to you, so roll firearms.
22 again.
Oh my god! Oh my god! You just
22 is the number.
You just
That's a
blew
crit.
on.
So
Shoot
crits,
her head off.
crits in Delta Green. You don't roll damage. You just get max damage.
Nice.
I don't know what
which-
max damage is on this
With
gun.
the shotgun is a
A shotgun
12.
blast at close range is a 2d10.
So that's 20.
That's
Point
20.
blank.
There are no. I've got a stat block here somewhere, but I don't need it because I know there are no humans in Delta Green that have 20 hit points, as far as I'm aware.
You just blew
You
a hole.
you redecorate the ceiling of the drawing room with her entire head, the contents of her entire head.
I hate.
Just
I knew I hated
And
water polo.
It actually just the buckshot just boom hits the ceiling so quickly that the body actually takes a couple more steps forward because it was in locomotion before it hits the ground.
woof.
Are you adapted to violence?
No, I'm not adapted to violence.
Make a sanity check for me then, please. And that was a particularly gory kill because it was a critical hit, so this is going to be a bigger san hit.
Eesh.
That's a fail.
Cobained her.
That's a failure.
You just Kurt Cobain
82.
All right.
82 on my sanity of 70.
That's going to be... You lose 6 sanity points.
Okay.
Literally the
Oh,
most I
boy.
could have rolled for that, sorry.
That's fine.
Max
Listen, I
damage for max
just
sanity loss.
killed my water polo buddy, so
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was-
like it's
That
fair.
was 1. It's usually 1 or 1d4. So 1 on a pass and 1d4 on a fail. But because she crit, it was going to be 1d4 or on a pass and 1d6 on a fail. And then I rolled a 6.
Oh my gosh.
And
Roll max damage, just take a max hit.
well, this is where it gets very interesting because if you lose 5 or more sanity points at once, you contract a temporary mental disorder. So essentially, the way this works is you get to pick. When you get 5 or more in a single roll, you lose self-control. We call it temporary insanity. For a short time, you can't control your agent's action. Your primitive brain switches to panic. So you either flee, struggle, or submit. So if you flee, you've essentially got to move in top speed in the opposite direction of whatever the hell triggered your sanity loss. Struggle is lashing out randomly at the nearest person. Once you've set up on that, you've got no choice but to fight until you are killed, unconscious, or restrained. Or submit. This is just sort of, blue screen behind the eyes, and you just go catatonic.
Ooh. Now what would Eliza do?
Up to her.
I don't think she would run. I think she would struggle. I think she would struggle. I'm gonna be as annoying as possible, guys. I think she would struggle.
Okay. Yeah, so you would just run, you rush to the barricade, and even and you just open fire with the shotgun from the breach, like just out into the vans. If you want to roll first of all, roll a luck check. So this is just a luck check is just, whenever I ask for that, it's literally just a straight 50-50. So if you get 51 to 100, that's a success. 0 to 49 is a fail on that.
You can do it.
This is literally just to see if you hit anything when you roll a firearms in a minute.
53.
So you will hit something if you pass your firearms check. So now roll a firearms check.
72. Her firearms is 80.
Okay.
72.
Oh, yeah, she definitely just did something.
So that's
I'm
going to
gonna
be
hit one of you. Watch out.
That's going to be a hit, but like at that range, it's not going to do as much damage as it normally would do. So I'm going to make it a 1d10 instead of a 2d10. 5 points of damage to that grouping. I'm going to say there's 16 of them. I'm going to say you catch like 4 of them in the spread. And you see, like, because they're wearing like all black, but you see like just it's reminiscent of like a die pack going off when the buckshot hits one of them in a calf, and their calf just and you just get a splat of blood, and they kind of take cover. And you see everyone on the street now scramble for some cover. Some of them were quite sort of standing out in the open before. At that point, let's move on over to... Yeah, no, Remy does make sense. We'll move on over to Remy. As Renko reaches away from town and comes to a stop at a road that leads out of town, and you right up to the edge, and there's like a weird heat coming from the street in front of you. You're like, wow, why is it so... It's weird. It's like emanating, almost like you were standing in front of a one of those patio heaters in the winter when you want to go outside and watch the fireworks, and they get the patio heater out, and you'll stand around the patio heater. You're getting that heat just literally off of
whatever that is.
Yeah. So Renko's pulled the pickup truck up, and he's gotten out, and he's just walking forward down the middle of the 2-lane tarmac, but there's a ton of heat coming from the direction he's walking, and he turns around and he goes, you may wish to stand back behind truck. And he pulls out a small object and stops and kind of goes like that, and as he moves his hand away, it's like the object is like floating in midair. Almost like it's attached to something.
That is extremely weird to me.
That's why you need to roll a sanity check.
Man-made horrors beyond our comprehension. Back at it again. Woo!
Cool. 51 out of 70.
Nice.
That's a pass, and you've been past guns and seen some stranger stuff today, so you're not going to make any sanity loss for that at all. But he then takes out like another device, and it's kind of like a cattle prod looking thing, and and it connects with something in front of him, almost like there's a wall and a whole
Almost like a key.
that's like a long electric rod, not too dissimilar to your own baton, but there's definitely electricity on the end, and all of a sudden what seems to you now to have been the image of a road in front of you is some sort of screen that shorts out. Now it's just black in a perfect square. And Renko turns and runs, and it's the length and size of the road. Roughly the size of like a large hangar bay door.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll run back to the pickup and he goes, "Place fingers in ears, yes?"
Okay, then I do get behind the truck and place my fingers in ears. But I also ask, "Hey Renko, what was in that letter?"
Perhaps point of not showing you letter you trust, or must you know?
I let it go for now.
Smart boy. Bombs away, and he presses his button, and the entire panel just explosion, and you look over, and as the smoke clears, there's a road leading out to what appears to be nighttime.
Huh.
And we'll move back on over now to Kane. As you make your approach towards the back of the house, you hear the unmistakable sound of a shotgun blast.
I just kind of start doing the hand movements for just go in, just like start operation, and have them just taking out any of the enemy operatives that are in the area of the back door, and just keeping overwatch on the sides to make sure that nobody's coming in this back area. And I'm going to try to find a open window to kind of look into the general area where I just heard the shotgun blast come from.
All right. You move towards the back garden of until an hour or so ago was your home, and you see maybe 4 or 5 men creeping over the garden fence to the left and right as you approach it from the back, headed towards what looks like the back door of your garden has been kicked in. And now that 2 of you group members are close together, can I get your dexterities, please?
Yeah.
Mine too?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mine is a 11.
11, okay.
Mine is also an 11.
All right, so for anyone listening in Delta Green, that's how you work out initiative. It's just your dexterity rating. That's all it is. So because of that, and you've both got the same damn dexterity, you can just decide who goes first. You can decide who goes first every round. Is how this works.
So
you should go first.
This, Eliza's already shooting the guys who are in the front. So if you're coming in from the side of the house, like, I was gonna argue that that's why you should go first, because she's doing something else. She's like distracted. She's killing the people.
Well, you took a shot, and that was your last turn, so you do get another go
so
now. Like,
I'll shoot the front again, I guess, because they're still over there.
okay,
I'm occupied with this.
It's not optimal range for that shotgun, so you're gonna have to, and you're in a frenzied state, so you would have to make a luck check, and then a firearms check.
So do you? Okay. So do I see anyone else to shoot? Because I am in a frenzy.
Well, you have to. Yeah, you don't have a choice. Like you entered temporary insanity and you chose fight, so you have to attack every round. Yeah, there are the guys that you hit have sort of moved towards the back, and the
Okay.
you
So
you
I'm
see
gonna- yeah.
there's roughly maybe 7 men on the front lawn now still. You see people running around in the back. When I say 7 men, I mean obvious combatants. The men that poured out of the vans in the what
Okay.
you're now realizing is tactical gear. That's what it's called. Tactical
Okay.
gear, definitely.
Okay.
You still see the people that you thought were your neighbours. They're kind of milling around in the background, and some of them are carrying boxes, and some of them have got like are on what appear to be mobile phones. That's what they're called, cell phones, speaking to God knows who. And yeah, you can take a shot at the nearest one.
Some people. Okay. 37 on the luck check. So I don't think I'll be hitting anyone today.
No, and the shot goes errant and just absolutely just puts a huge dent in the side of one of the panel vans. And we'll move on over to Kane.
I'm assuming that you said there's 2 other people with me. I'm gonna have them sight the 4 other people that go in the back doors.
2 of the dudes and Poe are with you.
Okay, so there's 4 of us. And just kind of have them pick their targets, and then just try to take all the operatives, like the 4 that are going to the back door, out at once.
Okay. So you're synchronizing your shot, basically.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Make a firearms check, and remember you're getting a +20 to this because of your excellent planning earlier.
Yeah. So I literally just have to roll under an 80. That is a 4.
That is a critical hit because it's between 0 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be max damage on whoever you're shooting. What's the damage die?
Damage is, I have it written down, is a 1d12, so 12 damage.
12 damage. Yeah, I mean, again, there's not many.
And it is also armor piercing as well.
Up to 3, right?
Yeah. So if they have Kevlar helmets on, like, they...
It doesn't really matter. Is the answer to that. It does have to be, so just a little bit more detail on that. You can shoot a called shot, so you're telling me specifically which I would assume centre mass, unless you do a called shot, is essentially how the rules work. And a call shot is done at a -20%. But you can also choose to aim. And if you aim, it gives you a +20% to when you fire on your next turn. Right, Poe will also roll his pretty impressive firearms stat. Easily. At a 69. Nice.
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 Let me give you an idea of this guy's firearm stat. At a 69, he is still well over 30% under his ability. Yeah. And yeah, he fires at the like he his eyes meet yours for a second, and you don't even have to communicate to him like and he to the other guys, and they all just fire simultaneously. And I'm just going to roll your damage for that. So you drop all 4 dudes in a single round. Well done.
Almost like I planned this.
Yeah.
Almost like.
So the backyard is clear. You see some of Poe's other men kind of going around the side of the house as they start to take out some of the other people. And yeah, you're free to head in.
All right, yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna go to wherever the nearest kind of window is to try to get eyes on Eliza, and just see where she's at because I can't see into the house right now. So.
Okay. You move around to the side and you see a frantic-looking Eliza with her back to the barricade, just unloading shells out the window at whoever it walks in front of the house.
Okay.
Make a human roll for me, please.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, that's
Does he
so
see the blood in the living room too? I
Yeah.
mean, that seems
Yeah.
like it would be an
I
indicator.
most likely just witnessed like the Kurt Cobain-esque scene that's in the foyer.
Well, that was the shotgun blast from earlier that you heard.
Yeah.
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 But you definitely see the headless body of Bridget lying in the drawing room. It was at the back.
That was a flat 40, so no, I do not succeed in that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose everyone looks that angry when they get into combat, maybe. I mean, you've always been pretty cool and calm, but, you know, not everyone's you.
Well, this is just protocol, but I'm gonna just, because I don't know if Eliza is something or else, like, entirely. Right? No. They did say earlier that she's one of the agents. Okay. Then I'm gonna just kind of walk into the doorway like, Eliza, it's me, Kane. Just like, don't shoot,
make a luck check.
Oh, what?
Make a luck roll.
Luck roll. Okay.
Yep.
So, gotta be. I'm about to get blasted right now.
Yeah.
That's a 62.
That's a success.
Okay.
Angry, very angry lady with a gun.
No holes in you.
Eliza, you whip the gun around and you're about to pull the trigger, and you sort of turn and you realise, no, hang on, I'm safe. Okay, I'm safe. Yeah, I'm safe. And you breathe in and out for a second, and we'll come out of initiative order now as Poe enters the house behind you. Kane is. Oh, 1, 2. The other one's with Renko.
Okay. Well, I suggest we hightail the fuck on out of here. ASAP immediately.
What?
But we still have about 12 guys sitting in the front, and how far is Exfil from here?
Click or two, not far.
Oh shit. They have their cars, so we have to move through the houses. But there's only a few spots that we can hide at.
No.
Unless we can try to take them out all at once right now.
My men have Jeep out back.
Okay, then we can take that and hightail out of here then.
And he, leads you through and over the fence the way you came in to a waiting, what looks like an armoured Jeep. And you, with a little bit of fanfare, as you peel away and you hear the rattle of rounds hitting the back, but armoured Jeep, man, like, they may as well be throwing stones. And you are not driving for too long until you come upon like, the outskirts of town and the 2-lane highway and a huge hole in the side of the world. That makes you stop. And can you both make sanity checks for me, please?
Come on. Don't go crazy. Cool, 33.
37.
30.
Right.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
High five.
Nicely done.
You're fine.
Is 33 a crit or fail? With
sanity checks you wouldn't get like, I don't think you get like a crit success.
No.
You can crit fail a sanity check, but you can't crit success it because you. I think. Well, actually, no. So if I believe if the outcome of a success is still a hit to your sanity, because sometimes it's like pass is 1 and a loss is like 1d6, for example. But I believe if you get a crit on a success, even if it says 1, it's a 0. You can drop it altogether.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a 0 anyway, so it's not a problem. But you're good. And you see a large sort of barrel-chested, like Popeye-looking dude with a big grey and silver beard, who's like throwing some stuff into the back of the pickup truck. And for some reason, he's with the mailman.
Do we recognize him?
Yeah.
When we see him again.
As you approach, you're like, no, that's not the mailman. That's Remy. And you have the same. You have the same revelations, Remy.
Kane. Hey, Remy, how you doing,
Eliza?
man? Shit.
Like fixes the glasses.
Oh God.
Wait,
What
guys,
is? Did
what
you see Eliza in a
the fuck
dress?
is going on?
She's out of her
I hate
normal
all of
suit.
you. I hate all of you. This is the worst day of my life.
The suit's finally out of the suit. She went to water polo class.
Water polo.
And
I
should have heard.
hate
Yes.
the water.
You should have heard her calling me darling this morning.
I hate you.
Poe is just sort of looking at this with like narrow eyes, like, well, I suppose people have different coping mechanisms. And like heads to the pickup truck. All of you in the back. And he like slides into the passenger seat, and Renko's already sitting in the driver's seat.
Cool. I hop back in and sit on the left side.
Remy, you should have seen the mess that Eliza left behind her. It looked like she dropped a bowl of spaghetti on the ceiling.
But
He was coming at me with a hunting knife.
What did you do?
I shot a woman in the head because she was running at me with a hunting knife.
And I'm guessing it just kind of.
Yeah. I mean, this morning I didn't even know I could use a gun, so.
You all stop for a moment, and the camaraderie's coming easy. But which of you, just I won't do a roll. Which of you has the highest intelligence? I can probably make a guess, but
I have 15 in my intelligence.
Ooh,
I have 13.
13.
okay, that's a surprise because he's playing the bookworm. So you just got he got really good rolls, Brian. So
I got incredibly good rolls.
That's not his highest stat. You're familiar with and it's very much you remember it's flooding back to you kind of that easy camaraderie that people in the sort of trench bonding, right?
Yeah.
This is what this feels like to you, but you don't know why.
Do we actually know each other outside of this, though? I mean, my memories are still a bit foggy right now, though.
Take you to see old friend, and we can fix your brains.
Who is us? Who are you taking to us to? I mean, I can easily associate good and bad guys by who's shooting at me, but earlier this morning, the detective over here, Poe, just shot me up with some random syringe. I thought I was going to have to, like, start throwing hands. I honestly woke up in the car thinking I had to crash that to escape.
And now you remember things, yes?
I do, but not enough right now. I need information now.
Is syringe, it work that way?
Well, if you are the people who are rescuing us, who were the people who were trying to take me out of the house? What were they? Who were they?
His program. He spits out the window the word, the program.
I thought
Program.
Okay.
What is the program?
What program?
I don't think I've read about anything like this.
It not make sense to you now. Come.
Can I do a insight, a human int? I know
You
it's
can
not-
certainly, all of you can roll a human check if you want. Not a problem.
Nope, 45.
Yeah, that's
That's
35
no
for
good.
me.
I mean, jovial enough.
53.
Oh, you've got a particularly high one, haven't you? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
Yeah. 53 under my human int of 80.
Nice.
He is, for someone that is apparently involved in a lot of dangerous activity by, your brief encounter with this large, apparently Russian gentleman today. He's an incredibly honest chap. He's not lied to you once.
I'm gonna, I guess, while we're in the back, I'm gonna sort of. He isn't lying, but I'm not really sure I like the sound of fixing someone's brain.
No, I mean memory.
Okay.
You get memory back. You sleep now. You sleep. We'll be in New York soon.
New York.
New York.
And with that, he stomps his foot down on the gas pedal, and you've noticed this is a recurring thing with him now. Just drives like a maniac. You've been in the car with him all day. You in particular, Remy. Yeah, like every single time he started the engine, he just peels out. And you thought it was just because he was in a hurry earlier on. Now you're starting to think this is just how he drives. And yeah, like the engine fires up. Some absurd polka music coming from the stereo that you all are forced to listen to for what seems to be about 3 to 4 hours, as you sit in the back and the sun starts to come up. And that is where we're just going to quickly take a break.
Cool.
Hey.
I now have to play some polka music for myself. Yeah. It's really.
Welcome back. As we left off, our players found themselves awoken in some sort of... I mean, it really depends on your slant on life. Either a 1950s dreamscape or a 1950s hellscape, from which they were promptly plucked from by two gentlemen, one by the name of Donald Poe and the other one Agent Renko. They now sit in the back of a pickup truck in the flatbed as the sun comes up. It's been maybe 5 to 6 hours since you left that strange dome that you were living in. Your minds are not all the way clear, Renko made that clear to you. They wouldn't be fixed until they were able to treat you properly, but each of you are getting flashes. You're getting enough. If you'd all like to make an intelligence ×5 roll, we'll see if you can remember anything about what's happened so far.
Darn, I rolled 3 above, so fail.
Okay.
That's
Oh, no.
36 for me.
That's the wrong dice. Never mind. Sorry. Oops.
What was that, Brian? Sorry.
36, so I succeed.
All right.
35
Success.
with the correct dice.
Nice.
Success.
I also got a 35.
Nice.
Success.
Let's see.
You I'm gonna give you all something different. It's your choice whether you open up to one another about it. Kane, you remember a house of some kind, huge old house. You're getting memories of a gold plaque on the door. Dorchester House, maybe? That you went in with your colleagues and you were asking questions regarding the patients there. And something bad happened after that, but it kind of gets fuzzy.
I'm keeping that to myself.
Okay. Remy, you recall hours of research into a hotel that just wasn't. You couldn't. It was like an information black hole almost. You couldn't find a hotel Broad Albion anywhere.
What was it called?
Hotel Broad Albion. I'll put the spelling in our chat for her.
Cool.
And you've got no idea what that's in connection to, but you remember hours and hours of research looking into this thing and not finding anything.
So much time lost.
Eliza,
I'd probably
oh, sorry,
bring
go
up-
ahead. Yeah, no, continue.
Yeah, we'll probably bring it up to the guys.
Okay, I'll let you play that out momentarily.
Mm-hmm.
Eliza, you recall something truly. A favour was asked of you, of all of you, and it had an unexpected outcome, and you're pretty sure it's linked to the reason that you were in that place. But a man, Mr. Whist, maybe? The name's on the edge of your memory, but the moment you reach out for it, it slips away. For those of you that want to share, well, you can go ahead and do that now.
Okay.
Cool. All I can really remember was just hours upon hours of research into this hotel. What was the name? It was Hotel Broad Albion. I could find nothing on it. I mean, I poured over book after book after book. And just nothing.
I mean, if it's not a famous hotel, I mean, I can't imagine there being too much public knowledge about it. So,
True.
do you remember why you were looking into it in the first place? There, like, any suggestion?
But that's the thing, I don't.
Do you think it might relate to this that hellscape we just got out of?
Maybe?
I remember something. It was a favor. Someone asked favor of us. And it had something to do with why we were there. I know it did. I can feel it, but it's not really coming back to me. The person who asked us, I don't really remember his name, but it was a Mr. W, Mr. like Winston or something. I don't remember the name.
I'm drawing on blanks on just about everything right now, so...
So I was looking for some hotel, and you said we were owed a favor.
That's all I've got right now.
Yeah.
I've got nothing.
And
My what I'm wondering though is just how are they able to implant these memories into our heads? I mean,
I would guess.
No.
Well, you know how we use the syringe?
right, but
Maybe it was the same way. I don't know.
But
Were we drugged?
Maybe.
I mean, drugs, yeah, but drugs can only be used to suggest memories, to implant them beforehand, not while you're active. I mean, for example, somebody had tried to tell me that I was born and raised in whatever that was, Staticville, and
So that.
those memories rushed to my head. I mean, that's just not suggestion. That is flat out something was forced into me.
Staticville? Was that what the place was called?
That's the name they gave me when I got taken in at the police station where Poe rescued me from. And is Poe and Branko like sitting with us, or are they kind of like in the front cab of the Jeep?
they're in the front, but at the speed you're moving, they can't really hear you. Poe's actually asleep. Renko's still behind the wheel, sort of singing to himself in Russian along to the polka music. So over the polka music and the fact that you are sitting in an open top flatbed of a truck, he's not speeding, so you can still hear each other, but he's not going to be able to hear you.
Gotcha.
Might be the 1950s hellscape talking, but I do trust you two. I don't trust them. She points
It's
over to them.
what I'm trying to say is that like,
Well, I know the Russian guy.
Okay.
well, how did Poe get in there? I mean,
Yeah.
don't you
How
think
do-
they would have noticed him by then? And why were they not affected by whatever memory juice, like, or whatever
That's-
they did to us? Why were they not affected? So
That's a good question.
there's so
Why?
many questions that we have.
Why were they trying to keep us there? I mean, Bridget, she was running at me with a knife. I think she was ready to kill me just because I said I didn't trust her. Why were they trying so hard to keep us there?
Right, when it seemed to be a very easy possibility to just
Yeah.
kill us.
Right.
There's just, I guess we can't get any real answers until
Yeah.
We get to where we're going.
Oh, by the way, I have this shotgun, but do you guys have any better guns that I can have? Sorry, I
Remy
just
went
have
first.
this.
Remy
A
went just short.
1950s
No.
hunting rifle thing.
Apologies, it's worthy to note that you are sitting in a flatbed alongside a bunch, like you're probably sitting on some crates that are,
Oh.
like there are
Okay. Sorry.
Renko
Never
and
mind,
Poe
instead of
bought an
asking
arsenal
that,
with them.
I'll just start like looking in
Literally
there,
just
see if I
kick
can
the
get
box
anything
underneath
good.
her. Take a look.
Oh,
Fire sale.
right.
Yeah, you find grenades, tac vests, freaking night vision goggles, assault. Like these guys
Ooh.
come ready to. Yeah, like they were ready for every eventuality.
Do we find any more of the
Ouch traps
syringes
in here too.
in the crates?
I'd say roll search, but really, like the crates are right there. There's nothing stopping you from opening all of them. You don't find any syringes. No, it's literally just weapons and armor. And,
All these weapons and notebooks.
Yeah, because the sword is mightier than the pen. You nerd.
I mean,
Nice.
maybe.
Did
Maybe.
did anything weird happen to you over the day? Like other than all of the weird stuff? Like did you see any weird yellow lights?
Lights. No.
Weird yellow light.
Really weird yellow light.
No.
Where did you see that yellow light?
I was at the pool, something brushed by my leg and I fell into the water, and when I came back up it was all weird yellow golden light, not like sunlight, like sickly yellow light, and there was this man. I hope
kind of
if
man?
God exists, I hope that was not God. I'm gonna be honest. He was like standing by the side of the pool and just staring at me, and then I got out of the water and I snapped sort of back to reality or whatever, and everything was different. Bridget was like talking to someone and saying that I knew something, and then that's when I ran home. I thought I hit my head.
Is there any way I could make a knowledge check of the occult kind?
on what?
If I know of any figures she might have described, like maybe the golden yellow light or something that she described.
A golden yellow light would be too general. What else did you say?
Not a whole lot else actually.
Man with the golden mask, I believe, is the descriptor.
Did you say that?
No, I think I just said tall man. Like it was
Tall
just
man?
it was just a man standing there staring at me. Yeah.
Well, that certainly is weird. I mean, I watched Renko blow a hole in the side of reality.
That also qualifies. That also qualifies.
How does that work?
I don't
Like-
know. All I remember is him standing there with some object floating in space. He had like this cattle prod looking object and just shoves it into it, and then all of a sudden,
I will say, I'll quickly, because we skipped over that kind of, you got into the back of the truck and then we went to break, so I'd argue that at the very least your character, Remy would probably be very intrigued, and you did turn around and look on the way back and it was a huge dome. A metallic dome that you were in. So you on the drive over, you're like it must have been some sort of projection or like a huge like super lifelike LED screen maybe.
yeah.
So you
Yeah.
you do have, just to
Nobody noticed
tell
that.
you have an answer to that. So.
Gotcha.
How did
Would you?
nobody notice that? I mean, like, people found Area 51 on Google Earth. How did they not notice a giant metal dome? What is... Like, you would
Are
have
they
figured, like, 4chan
powering
would have
it
been...
too? Like if it really was like an LED based or like screen based thing, they'd need
Well,
something to power it, right?
I can tell you
Solar?
right now that these guys are definitely not government. The program or whatever it is not government, because the government would not spend that much money to cover something up.
I mean, what do you think they're trying to cover up?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, why? Okay.
And
It
I mean,
seems
why
like
us of all people?
three? Why only us three? Too?
yeah,
Like,
it seems
The
like
exact question.
all of this,
us, we were the only people who weren't in on it, right? So, why all of this effort for us?
Right. And how did they get in here without? How were they in
program. That's right. That's
here? They had to blow a hole to get us out, but how did they get in?
maybe it's easier to get in than out.
Maybe the dome was built around us, like we were already there, and then they put the dome there and all the people there.
How could we have not noticed that?
I mean,
I don't
we did
know.
also wake up this morning with no memories of,
Yeah.
well, for me, 25 years of my life. So,
I mean, true. I just remember. I actually can't remember a whole lot of how I started. I just remember being on my usual morning route, and that was it.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
It's like I woke
I
up all of a
just-
sudden.
I just remember, yeah, waking up.
well, it's a long drive ahead. So,
Oh, yeah.
asking questions is just gonna get us nowhere besides stuck in our own heads. So,
It's probably for the best we don't.
until we can find somebody to answer these questions, just keep going down low, quietly. Move in silence like real G's, like in lasagna.
Kane,
Was that a pun?
I want a divorce.
I don't even think we're married. I really don't think we're married, but
You all kind of recline after that, and other than some small talk, you're tired. Apparently your body clock is completely out of sync because it's kind of late afternoon, but to you guys now it feels like, you know, midnight. You were on like a weird reverse schedule. It was night time when you escaped. You watched the sunrise.
But it was mid-afternoon when we left.
that's what the dome made you think.
Was it ever
Right.
not afternoon? I feel like
That's a good question.
was it ever
daylight for
not?
a long
Yeah, it was
time,
daylight
wasn't
for a
it?
long time. Kind of felt like it was always afternoon.
Huh.
Sun's always shining in Staticville. And the truck carries on for an hour or two more, and you start to get out of sort of the endless open highway, and you approach what appears to be like a city, but city is it's run down looking. You swear you see some fires on the horizon, and as you approach, Eliza, you recognise the shape on the distance straight away as that very familiar New York skyline that you grew up with. But it's occurred to you that you've seen no one on the road at all since you left Staticville.
Where is everyone? New York is usually, even the areas around it, super busy. There's no one here.
Renko pulls the vehicle over at like a gas station, and you see him. He takes a gun out of the glove box of the car, a huge caliber handgun, a big 357 looking thing, and walks into the store, and he's checking corners as he goes in, but there's no movement, and you just see him grab a bunch of stuff from the shelves and head back to the car and kind of throw it at you. He's got like bags of chips, and he's got bottles of carbonated drink, and yeah, what do you want to do?
Is it Pepsi?
Sure.
Pepsi.
He grabs one of each. there appears to be no one to stop him.
That is curious.
I wouldn't stop a big Russian man with a gun either, so honestly, like, can't blame them there, but I don't...
Now, I'm not entirely sure, but I think last time I was in New York, you had to pay for things.
You all make an alertness roll for me, please.
Yeah, that seems like a logical thing to do right now.
51, so it's a pass.
Okay.
45.
It's passed as well, yeah.
I see nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, you're
a wonderful 90.
You're too busy looking at this. Like, he gives you a huge bag of Lay's and like a bottle of Pepsi, and you're like, it has been too long. Like, I mean, Eliza's cherry pies were the worst. I'm sorry. That should have been a telltale sign that this woman was not a housewife. And you tear into the Lay's.
I'm gonna also tap on the window and just kind of like motion to like Renko for a cigarette, like see if he grabbed any.
Yeah, he throws you a packet of smokes. And for those of you that succeeded, there are graffitied yellow lines on the just side of the gas station building, but they appear to be going from like top to bottom. They're huge lines, so it doesn't appear to look like anything but that from where you're standing.
Okay.
And because you got 2 successful checks, you turn, as Liza was no doubt about to gesture to the graffiti on the building, and you turn in the direction that she's about to point at there, Remy, when a flyer, a poster, hits you in the face. You you peel it off, and you take a look, and it's a poster depicting like a weird snake-looking woman with like a golden mask that she's kind of holding away from her face, and in French the words "Le Rayon Jaune." You want to make French one of your foreign languages? You can do so now.
I absolutely do. Absolutely.
You stop as you're looking at the poster, and something in your mind just snaps to like an awful realization. Rough translation of the words "Le Royan Jaune" to the King in Yellow. You make a sanity roll for me, please.
44.
You lose 1 sanity.
I look over his shoulder. What you got there, bud?
It's a flyer for the King in Yellow.
You can read that?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't remember how I... Yes, I can read it.
Question. Do you know what language it is?
Yes, it's actually in French.
Okay. If we're in America, why is there a French poster with here?
Good question,
Are
actually.
we fighting the French right now? Because I'm all for that.
I don't think so.
Eliza will like peek over.
Sure, no, I'd
is
probably
this-
like just hold it up like
The
that.
same golden mask that she saw.
Similar.
Same type of mask.
It's
Is
very
it the
similar.
same?
It's
Oh,
it's
okay.
definitely the same color yellow.
It's like the guy who I saw in the light, he had a similar mask.
They've been the Yellow King then that you saw, perhaps? Caught a glimpse of? Why would he appear to you, though?
I don't know, but
You stop yourself as you say that. Why did that come to mind? Make another sanity roll for me, please.
8.
Oh, wow.
No, not. So, apologies, not you, Eliza.
Oh, okay.
Whoever it was that
me?
just mentioned the king.
Oh, not me. Wait,
Oh, that was me then.
that was you.
Why?
Ah, nuts!
Okay.
Please, my insanity is so good. Okay,
You
34.
guessed.
You take 1 sanity
30.
loss.
Oh,
Oof. It's one of those.
The alternative was worse. And your head hurts as you're like, why do I even know that name? You know it's
Remy?
bad news, but the worst thing you could do is probably mention it again.
I think we shouldn't talk about it.
Do I remember Harry Potter? I'm gonna assume that I know
Sure.
pop culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna Voldemort this from now on. All right. He who should not be named. Okay. I think that's the
Excellent.
general consensus.
Sounds good. Yeah.
For myself, can I make a check?
What is
An
it you
occult
want to check?
for myself?
Uh,
Just making an occult check to what he said out loud.
Sure. Yeah.
If I read anything about it.
Yeah. You can make an occult roll.
Here we go. 34, so that's a success.
Yeah, you recall there being references to a play that ran in Paris in the 30s called Le Rochen Jaune. There were accidents, and your brain's still a bit fuzzy, but you knew something bad happened. There have also been rumours of a similar play called The King in Yellow, but again, you're not all the way you yet. That's a problem.
Gotcha. That is a problem. I agree. Let's not talk about this for a while. Let's just leave it alone.
Keep a hand on the flyer. Just kind of tuck it away.
And I'll put it in my pocket. Do I have a satchel or anything on me? Like
Oh,
a foot
yeah,
satchel or
sure.
something?
Yeah, no problem.
Cool. I'll just add to my list then.
Renko would have given it back to you if you carry one around.
You're just carrying around a mailman satchel.
You
know?
you take a moment to get out and stretch your legs before you press on into the city itself, and as you roll on past, you see there are scant people on the streets, cars just kind of abandoned all over the street, and the people that you do see scamper away out of sight almost as you drive past. Some of them wearing strange robes with that now familiar golden mask. Some of them just out of their minds. You pass by a large group of people, about 20 to 25 people that appear to be having their own sort of party, maybe like festival in the street. They've got like big marionettes and some of them are wearing robes, and they're kind of throwing this yellow confetti around. Renko doesn't appear to react to any of this. He presses on to Battery Park through Manhattan itself, and just pull straight up on the vehicle, like right up to the station where the Liberty Ferry is. Somewhere that those of you that have any familiarity or their characters have growing up in New York know that's it's like vehicles don't come here. What the hell's going on? Like, he motions you all get out, and Poe wakes and leads you all onto the ferry, the Liberty Island ferry. There's maybe 5-6 people waiting on the ferry for you. They all look similarly dressed and equipped to the men that fought alongside you back in Stackville. And you pile onto the ferry, and as the ferry begins to pull away, you see Poe sort of take a moment to light a cigar with Renko, and they kind of stand on the deck, kind of in silence. Anytime any of you sort of try to initiate conversation, they just ask you to be quiet, and there's a weird tension in the air now. You're on the ferry. Anyone that's taken that ferry before knows it doesn't take too long to get to Liberty Island, and you're there within 15 minutes or so. You disembark and you're led up that famous hill and into the building that serves as the base of the statue. Inside there, it is fully staffed with, again, similar dressed men, all quite well armed, ready for any possible incursion. And you're led up the statue until you find yourself standing essentially inside the torch. Poe is there with the 3 of you now.
Enoch.
And you look out across the city, and you can see the buildings are ravaged. And across the larger buildings, Empire State, Chrysler Building, you see a symbol cast in a deep yellow, almost as if it's been painted onto the side. I'll put the image of that in the Discord chat for you now, but all of you instinctively know this symbol as the yellow sign. And wherever the yellow sign goes, the king follows. Poe turns to the 3 of you. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, it looks like a very bad Mardi Gras celebration out here.
This can't be good.
What happened? I mean, this doesn't feel like normal. Clearly.
In about 10 minutes, you'll remember. The easy answer to that question is you. You all happened.
What?
And it's not just New York.
We did this. We did this?
And you need to fix it.
Wait. No, wait. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Wait, whoa. What do you mean we did this?
Come with me. And he walks back inside the torch. And there's a circular rail right around the inside of the torch. And for the first time you notice there are restraints on the rail. The huge lantern in the middle. 3 sets of restraints, to be exact. Place your hands in the straps.
I'm not going to agree with that, Poe. I'm sorry, bud, but I need a little bit of clarification here before I am gotta be sacrificed here for whatever sick joke you got going on here, man.
You listen to me, you little bastard. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember. And then you come fuck it up. So put your hands in the straps. Or I throw you off of the torch.
Whoa.
And he draws the 1911 you saw him use. They're very well maintained, by the way, you notice. 1911 that you saw him using earlier, and aims it at you. Straps! Now!
Okay, well, I know when I'm beat, and Eliza's gonna put her hands.
And you said there's a lantern in the middle of the room?
Say that again, sorry?
Oh, you said there was a lantern in the middle of the room?
Yeah, it's the lantern that lights up the torch on the Statue of Liberty. That's what you're standing in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
What did we do?
I'm about to help you remember.
I mean, you knew Rinko, right?
Good man.
Does Rinko trust you?
This would be a lot easier if you just put your hands in the straps. We don't have time for 35 questions.
36.
Fine. If this supposedly gives me my memory back. But you have to answer every question when we do.
I won't have to. You'll have all the answers.
Well, the worst that
Fine.
can go wrong is I die, so,
Let's not get
Either
you
I-
killed.
We
yeah,
can
either I get
die
answers or it's
to
no longer
that
my problem
gun,
anymore.
or we can die to whatever this is. Really, it's just a choice of whether or not you want to get shot. You know.
The first time, doll.
Okay.
Alright.
And the strap of my hand goes.
I'll go strap myself in. I don't know why. Gotta bring out the kinks.
Renko comes up the spiral staircase and is like, he's already started securing you, Remy, as they're having the rest of this conversation, because you were the first one to acquiesce to the request.
Right.
Followed by Eliza, and then probably more trepidatiously and more carefully, Corporal Kane over there. And as you're all secured, he goes, Renko will turn to Poe. Now remember, 10 seconds. Any longer, scrambled egg. You understand? Yeah, I fucking got it. Get the fuck. And he's like knelt down underneath. Like there's like a panel open, and he's like fucking with some stuff. Roll. What's that alertness for me, everybody?
Eliza's got nothing. She's probably too
Rad, that's a 9.
know what's gonna happen.
The flat 30.
All right.
And
So the two passes. You see Poe take out a really weird looking, it's like an obsidian kind of rectangular device that he places inside the service panel underneath the lantern, and like attaches a bunch of jumper cables to like the top and the bottom and some white, and then like closes it again. Okay. You need to look into the lantern. You do not close your eyes. No matter how bright it gets, you understand?
All right.
Renko's already gone, and Poe heads down the stairs, and then you hear like a loud metallic like slam and a whine as you see the light inside the lantern head just begin to turn and brighten up. It spins and spins and spins, and as it gets brighter and brighter, can everybody make a constitution check to keep their eyes open, please?
Times 5?
Yeah, con times 5.
$29 to pass.
Okay.
9 for me as well.
Pass. Yep.
That'll be a 34 from me.
That's a pass for you as well, isn't it?
2.
Yeah, you all grit your teeth, and regardless of how watery your eyes get, the light goes faster and 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 faster, and your brains, I should say, they begin to turn at the same speed, and you start to remember. Eliza, the FBI, your family, Remy, your lifetime devoted to scholarship of the unusual, your strange relationship with Agent Renko, and the rest of your family connections, Corporal Kane, your military service, and the mentor figures and the family figures that were there when you didn't have family along the way. That sense of duty sort of returning to you, something that you've been feeling ever since you strapped on a rifle alongside Poe and went in for Eliza. That sort of reflexive need to protect, and that's got some context now and it comes back to you. And there's a moment where you feel like your eyes are about to pop out of your skull with how much they're burning, and it closes. The filter on the lantern closes the hood, and the light goes out, and you're just spots for a moment. You're blinded, and you blink several times, all of you, and turn to look at one another, and you remember everything. The McAllister building, the Dorchester house, the Hotel Broad Albin, and that damn play. And you know that it started all the way back in 1995 with an investigation into a missing girl by the name of Amanda Wright. And that is where we're going to end our session for today.
Nice.
I hope everybody enjoyed the prologue to our Impossible Landscapes campaign. This will be audio only due to technical gremlins. It may continue to be audio only going forward, or we may chuck some video in there. Who knows? I feel we've captured the most important elements of this for you. A good keen thank you to all the players I've got here, wonderful players I've got here that are going to come on board with me for hopefully the rest of this ride. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I've tried to get it off the ground in various formats, and now I'm finally getting the chance, so I do appreciate it. Want to thank the guys over at Cryo Chamber for all of the music. Link is there on the screen. YouTube them. Just fantastic ambient music for your games and other things. My late night studying. I'm a writer, and I find their stuff is great to write to. So please go check them out as well. And every Sunday on twitch.tv/Heroes in Theory for our regular D&D campaign, of which myself and Nina are players at the moment. So, with that said, thank you for listening. And if I'm going to ask you anything, I'd like to ask you, have you seen the yellow sign? Good night.